Episode 302. Today we're going to be talking about some standouts in yesterday's matchup between Edmonton and Vegas. And it was a really good game. Edmonton obviously took control throughout the back half of the game. I think early on they were able to take control. There was a point in, I believe it was the second period, where they were out shooting Vegas. It was 14 to 1. Vegas only had one shot on net, and they were just out chancing them, out voluming them, and just out generating them in general. And they were able to create a lot of volume and a lot of transition opportunities. And of course, the large the largest impact they had was from their top line of McDavid, Draisaitl, and Perry. And there were times throughout the game where they were trying to get a little bit more going, so they kept McDavid and Draisaitl together, but what they did is they put Hyman on that line. So they tried to load up that top line even more. I think Corey Perry's been a great fit on that top line with them. He's just played really well throughout the playoffs. He's continued to get better and really is a playoff style player. The way he plays, the way he competes, the way he battles, the way he competes for loose pucks and stuff like that. I think he's just a testament to what the Oilers want to be in the playoffs, and he provides that impact on a night by night basis now. I think he was really impactful. Leon and Connor were both really impactful too. They're always really impactful throughout these games, and they need them to be if they want to continue to advance and get back to the Stanley Cup final like they did last year. They're going to have Leon and Connor basically carrying them on their backs on a night by night basis. Usually that's what they do. They did that yesterday. They had 2 points each. Leon had a goal and an assist. Connor with two assists. And I thought Connor was very effective in transition, very effective up ice, very effective moving his feet, being able to turn on the dime, being able to evade pressure on the walls in the O zone, being able to extend possession, just the classic Connor McDavid style player that we see. Leon Woody does a good job of being able to use his size, use his frame, use his reach to be able to extend plays on the walls and be able to extend possession. Obviously, not the best skater, but it doesn't really matter because he's really good with his anticipation and his smarts and his awareness inside the offensive zone, and also being able to use his strength and leverage that strength. So he's definitely a player, is more dynamic when it comes to his shot. Obviously, very talented when it comes to being a dual threat player and being able to weaponize both facets of his game and being able to really weaponize those aspects of his game, and certainly a talented player offensively and has continued to get better and really looked good throughout this game. It was really impressive to watch. Corey Perry was really effective at being able to battle for loose pucks, being able to compete for pucks on the forecheck, being able to get in as F1 as the wing, and being able to seal the walls on occasion, being able to be reliable defensively, being able to provide a lot of sustained impact on that line, and certainly does a lot of things that sometimes McDavid and Draisaitl don't do, which provides a nice counteracting balance. You have those three together, and you have different elements when it comes to all three players, which is really good to see. And then Evan Bouchard, I really liked his puck movement, really liked his power play ability. 5-on-5, I thought he was really noticeable at being able to move pucks, transition pucks, outlet pucks with pace, and just being able to be a guy who can be a well-rounded defenseman as well. I thought he was doing a great job throughout this game. He was effectively reliable, like I said, in transition, but also in the ozone, walking the offensive blue and being able to create opportunities, whether it be shots or passes, just being able to be reliable in all facets of the offensive zone and being able to create a lot of opportunities there. I like Zach Hyman and Connor Brown were both very good, both one goals each for them. And Connor Brown's been underratedly effective as more of a top nine guy, sometimes more of a middle six guy, moves up and down their top nine quite frequently there. And Zach Hyman, kind of the same thing in a sense where he can move it up and down those top three lines. Obviously, more of a staple inside their top six, but I think Hyman is really effective just being able to get around the net, getting to the net. He's one of the best net front players in the NHL. Just the way he anticipates, the way he's able to create space, the way he's able to move off the post and be able to create space for himself and prevent getting boxed out by opponents, and just does a great job. I thought Vander Kane was effective too, just being able to make plays, be engaged physically, be able to have that sustained impact in the ozone, and also sometimes on occasion defensively as well, and was just noticeable in those facets of the game. And then for Vegas, Mark Stone had 2 goals throughout the early stages of the first. I believe both were power play markers because he had that power play goal early off that penalty from Ryan Nugent Hopkins, and then I don't remember if the second one in the first period was a power play goal or not. It's evading me right now, but he had 2 goals in the first period. It looked like he was going to be on pace to get a hat trick right away, just the way he's playing. He was the best player on the ice the first 10, 15 minutes of the game, and obviously slowed down a little bit more. But certainly a guy who's very engaged offensively, very engaged defensively, plays a transition game, extremely smart with and without the puck and extremely detailed in those situations. Does a great job offensively and defensively. Jack Eichel, I thought, was a little bit more noticeable throughout this game. I think McDavid overshadowed him quite a bit, especially considered those two are being matched up against one another at 5-on-5 quite a bit. I think McDavid overshadowed him a lot, especially being able to extend possessions in the O zone, being able to maneuver around him, and sometimes made Eichel look silly. I think Eichel needs to ramp it up a little bit more if Vegas wants to continue to stay in the playoffs. And I haven't quite seen the full degree of Jack Eichel quite yet. I think there's more to him, and I think he knows that. But there's certainly some situations where he's provided impact. Like he's provided impact in odd-man rush situations and transition situations, being able to move his feet, being able to get space and then move up ice with speed. I think there's a lot of situations where he takes advantage pretty quickly. He's able to be a quick strike offensive player, but also he can be reliable as a transition player, be able to transition pucks with pace, with purpose, with precision, with accuracy, and which overall confidence as well. And then I like Shea Theodore and William Karlsson. I think two guys who are noticeable. Shea Theodore more. I liked his game and the way he moves pucks, the way he outlets pucks, the way he keeps pucks flat on the ice in terms of his passes. He was playing the right shot or the right side in this game with Alex Pietrangelo out. They needed to fill in. They got Caden Korczak to fill in on that right side on that second pair with Nick Hague. And then you have Shea Theodore working the right side with Braden McNabb on that top pair. So you had McNabb with Theodore, and then you had Hague with Korczak, and then you had Hannafin with Whitecloud. So three really balanced pairings in terms of offense and defense. And then I thought Caden Korczak, speaking of which, looked very effective, very physical throughout this game, especially early on throughout the first. How he's able to create using his physicality, how he's able to knock guys off pucks. I think he's really added that element to his game. I remember him as a junior defenseman. He was more known for his shot and his ability to produce offense and also be reliable in some of the angular aspects of his defensive play. So not necessarily physical, but relying more on angles, more on positioning, more on technique. I think now we've seen that continue, but we've seen the trend more towards physical play. So if he's seeing a situation where he's angling a guy off, he's going to be quick to close. He's going to be assertive to close, and then he's going to be able to read that situation using his physicality. So he's gotten stronger in his hands and his arms to be able to close guys off quicker. I think that's been more effective in his game over the course of the last handful of years now, and it's just continued to get a little bit better over the course of time. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if he continues to draw in the lineup with the way he played that game yesterday. He looked really effective in mitigating plays defensively, being able to be reliable in some aspects offensively. I noticed him more as a shutdown D more than anywhere else. I think that's what they were kind of relying on him to be throughout this game. And Alex Pietrangelo is kind of that. He's not necessarily a number one defenseman anymore, but he plays more of a shutdown game, I would say. I wouldn't necessarily say he's an elite offensive defenseman nowadays, but certainly can play more of that shutdown game based on angles and also physicality. I think Korczak did a really good job and a really nice job filling in for him and did an effective job doing that on a regular basis, shift by shift.